James from Bolt Bros here. Hey, just wanted to be able to talk about an article once again. It seems like annually it kind of shows up, but Dea Spanos wants to sell her shares of the Chargers. This is once again coming back around, always around the offseason for some reason, but here we are again. So let's just get into it. Let's chat about it a little bit more. Bolt Bros, let's go. All right, guys. So article kind of popped up today. Just kind of came out of the blue. I don't have the full access to it or anything like that, but maybe there's going to be a little bit more steam on this. But here's the article. Dea Spanos wants to sell 24% stake of her team, which is kind of interesting because it kind of breaks down to a little bit more of a different, breakdown of how it works throughout pretty much everybody within the Spanos family. So basically, Chargers owner Dea Spanos Barbarian is looking to sell 15% she owns personally and her chunk of the Spanos family trust, which owns about 36% total. So currently, she's basically looking to sell her 24% stake. So basically, almost a fourth of the team looking to be able to be sold. Now, it's an interesting thing because looking at like these figures here on this article, 36% is in the trust, and then it breaks down to each individual in the family having 15%, which is four brothers basically. So it kind of breaks down to, or excuse me, four siblings, excuse me. So basically she has her 15 and then she wants to sell her percentage of the 36% too. So which creates 24%. So it's not like a huge amount, I guess, but at the same side, what does that really mean for us, guys? Like, so if she does end up selling, say her 24%, there's going to be a new owner involved in this. Now, even if she sells her 24%, Spanos is still own the majority at that point. So it doesn't really matter too much. But are we starting to get kind of closer to that point to where we could have a new ownership at some point? What if Dea forces basically the sell to happen? The sell does happen. Let's say it's going to be Jeff Bezos, just as an example. Jeff Bezos is like, yeah, I'd be okay with that 24%. But what if I could get a little bit more out of everybody else? What if I could take a little bit of percentage from each one of the Spanoses too? What if he is able to get 51% majority? Hey, I don't know. What if they see how much that Dea is going to be able to get from it? Hey, money talks, right? And so money makes things happen. And so what if they are looking at that? So let me show you an article that was from last year, and why I kind of brought up earlier on in the video is that seems like we have an annual article that comes out about Dea Spanos wanting to be able to get this team sold and sell this team off. So kind of an interesting thing where it comes back again, once again at the offseason here. So this was the kind of right into training camp with Dea's situation with the team. And so basically, Chargers co-owner Dea Spanos Barbarian drops demand for brother Dean Spanos to sell the team. So this was in August 10th of 2022. So now she drops that basically, according to AJ Perez of Front Office Sports. Dea Spanos, co-owner of the Chargers and sister of controlling owner Dean Spanos, is no longer trying to force a complete sale of the team. So at that time, it was not a force of the complete sell of the team, but she's just kind of thinking, hey, how can I potentially look at for selling my chunk of my team? So back in, giving you guys a little history lesson, back in 1984, that's originally when the Spanos family ended up buying them. Basically, their dad basically ended up purchasing them and then basically split the team up into segments of who owns what. So Dean, Dea, and their other two siblings, each owning 15%, with another 36% in a family trust. So basically, they have pretty much a full control of the team. What I believe breaks down to, if my math is correct here, guys, it ends up being about 96% of the team. So The Spanoses pretty much run this thing. There's a 4% that's out to other owners, but it's pretty much very minimal. And you're a minority owner at that point. The Spanoses pretty much run it. Dean, Dea, and the other two siblings throughout the team. So this is last year that they were talking about this, that they were saying, hey, Dea was trying to say, sell the entire team, get rid of it, sell the 96% or the majority to be able to have somebody else own the team. Basically, there's a lot of debts involved in this team. There's a lot of funds that they don't have or can't afford as a team. It's interesting because we're seeing a lot of the Chargers spending a lot of money right now. I mean, hopefully they have that money. It seems like you haven't heard anything from the players that they have not got their checks. But there is something going on here. I mean, once again, when the Chargers did leave San Diego, they had to pay almost a little bit over, I think it was $550 million relocation fee to be able to get them to Los Angeles. They are now in Los Angeles. They are paying this fee. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change, guys. The team is worth, I think, around $2.26 billion right now. But if they do have a huge amount of, financial issues or whatnot, dude, it's kind of an interesting thing to see if they might just say, hey, we'll sell it off. Going back to actually this article here, there was a part where it says, perhaps even more importantly, the Denver Broncos were recently purchased for a record-breaking $4.6 billion. That, in fact, there are multiple bidders who were unsuccessful in that process. So there is a hot market here. Once again, the Commanders are one out there too that are looking to get sold too. Snyder probably is going to block as many as he possibly can because he wants to stay as an owner or whatnot, but $4.6 billion purchase for the Denver Broncos. Chargers are worth around the $2 billion mark. What's their chunk going to be? What is 24% of Dea's chunk going to be? I mean, 24% is pretty significant if you're starting to look at $4.6 billion. I mean, you'll be getting over $1 billion basically for your chunk of your 24%. So what's not to say? I mean, I think we all kind of think it would be nice to be able to have new owners, new minds, new fresh ideas how to be able to get this team going. I do think that the Spanoses are doing things a little bit more differently in the last 2 years. I mean, creating a whole new headquarter facility out in El Segundo, spending money there, buying a lot of franchise or spending a lot for free agency, last year. And they are trying to basically keep their players in this team. So I do think that it's an interesting thing to think about. I mean, Dea's probably thinking, hey, if the Broncos are sold that much, hey, what if we're worth $4 billion and somebody would be willing to give us $4 billion? Well, her part of her ownership ends up becoming roughly about $1 billion. That's not a bad chunk of change, guys. So interesting thing that's really, really developing with this story. I mean, it seems like it's not going away. I do remember that in the Dea case, there was kind of this push to be able to have their team or the team sold, I think, by 2024, 2025. So I don't really know if that's going to be something that does kind of come up again, or if that is going to be a topic of discussion anymore. But who knows? Who knows where this leads, guys? I mean, Dea Spanos is out there still pushing a little bit. She would like to sell her 24% stake of the Chargers. Let's see what happens here. I mean, one of the siblings ends up selling them off, but then the other sibling might say, hey, man, you're getting $1 billion. I wouldn't mind getting $1 billion kind of thing. So who knows? We'll see kind of what develops from this. Kind of just a small topic I wanted to chat with you guys on, but I want to see what your thoughts are. Who would you like as an owner? I mean, personally, Jeff Bezos has got tons of money. The Walmart pretty much owns the Broncos now. There's a lot of, owners out there that are multiple base billionaires out there. Panthers owner is pretty rich, by the way, too. So there's a lot of big billionaires that would be interested. What if Elon Musk, throwing it out there? I don't know. Hey, he lives in Los Angeles where he has Tesla roots there and such, SpaceX, all that kind of stuff. So who knows? But either which way, let me know what your guys' thoughts is on this. Would it be cool if we see one of the ownership sell off a chunk, 24%? What if that same ownership just saying, hey, can I get a couple more chunks from some of the other guys? Maybe end up being the majority owner and really start having maybe say 51% of this team. And then the Spanoses keep the other 49%, or give or take whatever it might be to be able to be at that point, which I think would be about 46%. But either which way, let me know your thoughts, guys. Interesting topic once again here, guys. So like, subscribe, sub. Really appreciate the support. Always, guys. Bolt Bros. Let's go.